that quarter. So is she going to have that kind of game? She's coming off a game when she had 15 against Las Vegas.
Both teams without their superstar. Diana Taurasi has played just part of one game this season. Angel McCautry has been out all year following knee surgery for the Atlanta Dream. So we are up and away here from downtown Phoenix. The Dream and the Mercury. Pass is tipped by the rookie Brianna Turner. She is in the starting lineup for Brittany Griner. It's a three-guard lineup for Phoenix with Breon January, Leilani Mitchell, and Yvonne Turner. Duana Bonner is fourth in the league in scoring. For Atlanta, they have lost 10 in a row, have won only 5 games all season. And Tiffany Hayes, their leading scorer, has been battling injuries all season as well. We begin with a Duana Bonner big shot. 3-point hit.
Yeah, huge for Duana Bonner and the Phoenix Mercury to get her off early. She has struggled.
Boy, and this Dream team has struggled on the road, 1-11 away from Atlanta this season. What a disappointing season, too, for them after last year when they set a franchise record, Annie, 23-11, 23 wins. They were the number 2 seed going into the playoffs and lost in a 5-game series to the Mystics in the semis. So I mentioned Nikki Collin is without Angel McCautry. But what else? What has gone on with this Atlanta Dream team? It is a big loss. They were without her for that playoff series, too, against the Mystics.
Well, Clarendon got traded, too. And as a point guard for her, she really controlled the offense. Alicia Clarendon, who went to Connecticut. And Williams, still one of the top shot blockers. This is the number 1 shot blocking team in the league.
Mercury have been devastated by injuries without 5 players, including Griner. Essence Carson is out. She's missed the last 7 games with a calf injury. Sancho Little out the last 10 games with a knee injury. Alana Smith, their rookie from Stanford, is out. And, of course, Diana Taurasi, but she has been amping up her workouts, the inside hoop for Jessica Breland.
Yeah, she has, and she's been shooting the ball. And, as you said, her workouts have been strong. And talking to Doctors Leah Brown and Amy Overland, they have said she is working hard. Diana Taurasi, they're working hard on her, too, to get her back.
Now, going back to that first Bonner 3-point hit, she was 0 for 17 from far away in her last 4 games. 2 of 28 in her last 6. Breland from deep. Just hits the backboard.
This is a Dream that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah, the GMs picked them as the top defensive team coming into the season. And they play some sticky defense, that's for sure.
They're one of the top rebounding teams also, and with that rebounding, they can get a fast pace going.
It's just their offense has been dismal all year long. Outside of Brittany Sykes, who takes it to the cup.
Now, one of the things Sonia Brandello talked about before the game is that trying to keep them out of the paint. They're so athletic. They create their own shots doing one-on-one plays, and they get in the lane, and that's one of the things the Mercury have to do a better job defensively. Sykes,
29 in that last meeting against Phoenix. She also had a 33-point game against the Mercury. Breon January on target.
But since those 4 games after playing the Mercury, scoring 29 points, 10 rebounds, she went 0 for 13 from three-point range. And one of the things Sykes does in scoring those big baskets, 1 is getting to the basket, and 2, getting herself to the free throw line.
You can just see how explosive she is. Her eyes light up when she takes on Phoenix.
Well, and at this point, too, as a defensive player, back off a little bit. Yeah, you want to contest outside, but don't let her drive.
Bonner puts it on the floor and takes it in for 2. Well, Bonner with a 3, and then the layup. So 5 early points for Duana Bonner. Comes in 4th in the league in scoring. She was an early season MVP candidate, but her numbers have dropped off significantly over the past few weeks.
Now look at how the penetration, the guards forcing inside play in a mismatch of the guards for the Mercury.
Tiffany Hayes had a career-high 34 this past week at Indiana, and then struggled from the field in their last game against the Las Vegas Aces. Offensive charge, and a hit taken by January. Now, this Dream team, Tuesday in Vegas, they actually went toe-to-toe with the Aces, 94-90 loss in Las Vegas.
Breon January getting back defensively. That elbow goes right into the neck, but she holds her position to draw the charge. And this is the Dream team that lost by 2 points to this Mercury team, and that was a game that Brittany Griner had 31 points, 12 rebounds. She was 9-11 from the free throw line with 3 blocks. So you've lost that inside player, and there's Leilani Mitchell had an easy layup and tried to make a tough pass inside to Breezy Turner.
And a foul in the backcourt on Breonna Turner, the rookie out of Notre Dame. Yeah, that first meeting, Griner 11 of 15 from the field. That was her season high to 31 points. And a 2-point game there for the Mercury. And then, like I said, the Dream played the Aces tough on Tuesday. They actually led that game by 5 after 3 quarters of play, but then were outscored 24-15 in the fourth quarter. So despite that 1-11 road record, they had a great matchup with Phoenix here in Arizona, and then the game against Vegas. That one road win for Atlanta this season came in Seattle on July 5th. So Atlanta starts out 4 of 6 shooting. Sykes with a couple of hoops already. Being defended there by Bonnie Turner. Renee Montgomery from behind the line. Down it goes for Renee.
Well, it never fails. Montgomery, who's been struggling with her three-point shot,
29%. 29% this season for Renee. Bonner thought about another 3. Pitches it over to January. Lines it up. In and out. January led the WNBA in three-point percentage last season. Those numbers have dropped this year for Breon from 47% to 33%. And a reach-in foul before the shot by Montgomery. And so Atlanta will have it on the side. Phoenix starts out 3 of 7 from the field. 2 hoops for Bonner and 1 for January. Sykes with 2 buckets, 1 for Breland, Hayes, and Montgomery. There's Tiffany Hayes. The southpaw launches, and high in the air for the rebound is Dewana Bonner. Bonner averaging 18 points and 7 rebounds this year.
And Griner's still the leading scorer in the league.
Mm-hmm. She will miss the next game. That will be game number 3 of the 3-game suspension. And that's Sunday afternoon here in Phoenix against New York. That pass by Camille Little, nearly intercepted. Phoenix maintains possession. Bonnie Turner trying to force it through traffic. And out of the pack comes Tiffany Hayes. Elizabeth Williams, defended by Camille Little, the veteran. Rising up is Sykes, and she drills a 3. Brittany Sykes already with 7 points here in the first quarter. And Sandy Brondello is going to call a timeout. 4:38 to go here in the first. Phoenix Mercury are used to this. Brittany Sykes lighting it up for Atlanta. She's hit all 3 of her shots. Those of you who are watching on CBSSports.com, our streaming coverage concluding after the commercial break, and we continue on CBS Sports Network. And finding us here on CBS Sports Network, Tom Leander along with the Hall of Famer Ann Myers Drysdale. Hot start for Brittany Sykes here in the first quarter, hitting her first 3 shots. And the Mercury's Brittany Griner, serving game number 2 of her 3-game suspension following the fight here in Phoenix against the Dallas Wings as she started to chase down Christine Anigwe, who backpedaled in a hurry and having to be restrained by teammates and officials. Agler was smashed up against the press table. Kayla Thornton came in from behind. I believe those punches were intended for Kayla Thornton.
Yeah, it was tough, and certainly the league looked a lot and talked to the players and coaches and management. I think the one thing that the Mercury were disappointed in is that it was a 3-game suspension for Griner, feeling that Thornton and Anigwe should have had 3-game suspension. But it is what it is, and Taurasi had a game suspension. Kayla Davis had a game suspension. And I find it interesting that, a lot of the sports people on air, they're commenting, and I think a lot of people that haven't watched the WNBA or know a lot about the league were commenting about, quote, the fight. And was it back in 2002 with Detroit and the Sparks with Lynette Pearson and Candace Parker and Lisa Leslie and Delisha Milton got involved with Rick Mahorn. And, that was a big fight back then, too.
Bonner, her shot is blocked. And Anigwe has the reputation of being a very physical player coming out of college. And she had a previous incident with Griner when she was playing for Connecticut earlier this season. So Griner obviously was frustrated with the league. She thought, as you mentioned, that Kayla Thornton and Christine Anigwe should have received 3-game suspensions. Griner said she totally owns up to the 3 games that she was hit with, but felt the others should have gotten 3 as well. And she was very outspoken about the league. Down it goes for Bonnie Turner as she plugs a 3. But Brittany said, I love playing for the Mercury, but definitely not playing for the WNBA. The W don't do nothing. So she was incredibly upset with the league, and hopefully, those kind of rhetoric will soften up a bit by Brittany.
Sykes not Sykes, but Hayes on the drive. But also, a game later, Las Vegas had a game with Liz Cambage, and before that, we'll talk about nice pass and a nice shot by Vonnie Turner knocking that down for the Mercury. But Liz Cambage came on air after the Aces game and talked about herself and Brittany Griner and Sylvia Fowles and some of the other big players in this league, and how they really get banged around, and they may be able to fight through some of the fouls and so forth and finish, but why are fouls not being called against players that are playing the same way that they are playing? And so I thought Liz Cambage did a nice job supporting the big players in this league, but also supporting what happened in the Mercury situation as far as not supporting the fight, but just the frustration that a lot of the players come up against. And they have held their emotions in check. And we talked about it because Brittany Griner had also gotten fouled by Kayla Davis earlier on a big shove and kind of went up to Griner, and they went nose to nose on each other, and Griner just kind of laughed it off. So we know that she has really matured a lot, and it took a lot for her to get to that level.
You saw a shot of Diana Taurasi moments ago on the Mercury bench, so she will serve that one-game suspension when she is cleared to play. And as I mentioned, she has brought up the intensity of her workout, so she could be cleared to play sooner than later for this Phoenix Mercury team. They weren't sure. She played the part of one game against Connecticut and then tweaked her back, had surgery before the season, but it appears that Taurasi could return before the playoffs, if indeed Phoenix is able to make it into the postseason. Right now, 8th in the league with an 11-13 record, 2.5 games ahead of Indiana for that 8th and final playoff spot.
And the Mercury, certainly, this is the second game without Griner. Learning to play without your center, who is a defensive menace inside, and certainly the Dream taking advantage of that and getting inside.
Alex Bentley double-teamed. Pass was tipped. Back to Bentley, hoists up a three, offline. Offensive rebound to Elizabeth Williams. Williams, shoulder down, goes in with the left hand. Fifth-year player out of Duke, a premier shot blocker, and can finish near the cup. Comes in averaging 9 points and 6 rebounds. Was an all-star in 2017. Baseline drive. And now hanging in the air is DeWanna Bonner.
Well, you can see a lot of the Mercury shots are short.
Erica Carter has come in off the bench for the Phoenix Mercury. Only 9 available players. Tipping inside was Elizabeth Williams.
The Dream are number 3 in offensive rebounding and number 3 in overall rebounding. And Williams is one of those keys. She's coming off a game. She only had 4 points, 4 rebounds against the Aces, but she's playing big tonight so far.
Again, early minutes for Erica Carter, who signed a second 7-day contract along with Asia Taylor. And there is Carter, lines it up, spins off. WNBA granting hardship exemptions for this Phoenix team amidst all the injuries. And so they have signed Taylor and Carter. Coffey for 3, and that rattles out.
Yeah, Williams again. You can see Camille Little having a very difficult time on Williams, keeping her off the glass.
Long rebound, another possession
nice
for
pass.
Atlanta. Tremendous pass by Bentley inside. And going to the line will be Williams.
Alex Bentley in her 7th year, just recognizing Williams standing all by herself and Carter having to foul her and put her at the free throw line.
And Bentley was acquired last year by Atlanta from the Connecticut Sun. And last season against Phoenix, she had a career-high 6 made threes. Finished with 24 points in the final regular season meeting of 2018. Brianna Turner comes back in for the Mercury, and out goes DeWanna Bonner. Bonner starts this one 2 of 6 from the field, 5 points to lead the Mercury. Sykes with 7. And Elizabeth Williams now has 6. There's no question this Dream team has been missing McCautry, one of the top players in the league, had the knee surgery last August. In the lane, Camille Little hits back iron, tipped out of there by Turner, who has been a beast on the offensive boards for Phoenix. And then fouled behind the line of Von Turner as she was leaning into Sykes.
Yeah, Turner got bailed on that because, as you said, she leaned into the play. Sykes was right there. And I like the fact for the Mercury, they're looking for other scores because they're missing Brittany Griner. Dewana Bonner, who only has 2 points and has really struggled with her shot. Actually, she has 5 points. But, she has not been efficient as of late with her scoring. And this is a Mercury team that's number 2 in free throw shooting. They missed 6 the other night. And really kind of a winnable game for them, but missing those free throws and then also turning the ball over 20 times. But I would say that this Mercury team, in the shots that they're shooting to, they're all short. So is fatigue a factor because they're having to play a few more minutes and having to play a lot more defense without Griner in there.
And you can see the aggressiveness over the last few games for Yvonne Turner, who goes 2 of 3 at the line. She shot 18 free throws in the last 2 games. And came in shooting 94% from the line, 17 of 18 on the season.
Before those 2 free throws, 15-5, the Dreamer outscoring the Mercury in the last 5 minutes.
Marie Gulich, who was drafted by the Mercury, traded for the 11th pick that Phoenix used on Brianna Turner. Gulich coming off her first career double-double, and pumping in the 3 was Alex Bentley. Nice kick out by Gulich. And Gulich having her best game as a pro on Tuesday against Vegas, 15 points and 12 rebounds.
And Bentley is a 20% three-point shooter.
Pretty much down the line for this Atlanta team. Almost every player has struggled shooting the ball this season. And you start with Tiffany Hayes, who averaged a career-high 17 points per game last year, but she has been hampered by ankle and hamstring injuries.
Gulich draws 2 players, and Bentley wide open. This is, as you mentioned, the Dream have lost their last 10 games, and 4 of those games were by 5 points or less. They have been competitive in a lot of these games, but haven't been able to win. Their last win was against Minnesota, 60-53, 11 games ago.
Quiet start so far for Leilani Mitchell, who's at the line. She comes in second in the WNBA in made three-pointers, 56 this season. She's 5th in the league in three-point percentage, and as we talked about off the top, averaging 20 points per game over the past couple weeks. Alex Bentley flips it up, too strong. Chased down by Brianna Turner, averaging 11 rebounds over her last 3 games. And she was not a factor for this Phoenix team the first couple months, and she has just exploded the past few weeks for Phoenix. Final 10 seconds of the first quarter. Mitchell creates a little space and drains it. First field goal for Mitchell. 3.7 on the clock. But it has been a first quarter dominated by Atlanta, shooting 45% from the field. Brittany Sykes got them off to that early start. Bentley on the push. Rises up to end the first quarter. And Atlanta will take a 24-16 lead into the second quarter. And for those of you watching on CBSSports.com, our streaming coverage will conclude after the commercial break, but we will continue on CBS Sports Network. You can find us by going to CBSSportsNetwork.com/channel finder. We're back from Phoenix after this. Tom Leander and the Hall of Famer Ann Myers-Drysdale here in Phoenix. Started the second quarter with Atlanta up 24-16. They out-rebounded Phoenix 15-8. Elizabeth Williams had 3 of their 5 offensive rebounds, and Phoenix shot a paltry 29% from the field in the opening period. They are without Brittany Griner, serving the second of 3 games in her suspension following the fight in the game against the Dallas Wings. And the Brittany for Atlanta, Brittany Sykes, came out red hot, hitting her first 3 shots, and she had 7 points in the opening period for the Dream. Dream having lost 10 in a row coming into this game. Phoenix has lost 3 straight and 5 of their last 6, but clinging to the 8th and final playoff spot right now in the WNBA. They trap January, releasing to Turner. Inside, lobs it up for Dewana Bonner.
And that all started with Brianna January as far as spacing and bringing the double team and not allowing the trap to get to her. And Breezy Turner was a release for her to get that ball, and then a nice pass to Dewana Bonner.
Seeing such excellent poise from the rookie Brianna Turner here in Phoenix over the past month. And just limited play first couple months. coming out of Notre Dame, the 11th overall pick. Sophie Cunningham is out there now, number 9 for Phoenix on her birthday, turning 23. But it's the trap on January, and very heady move by the rookie Turner to lay it up for Bonner.
And what was so good about it, she got rid of it before the trap came. Gulich was coming at her, and instead of, a lot of times players will wait until the trap gets there, and then they are stuck, and it's a very difficult pass. But as Gulich was coming, there was a space for January to make that pass, and it was a nice pass, too.
We talked about this dream team without Angel McCautry all season following the knee surgery last August. But she has been frustrated as well with her team, the Dream. She thought that they were trying to trade her back in January and not been patient enough with her rehabilitation. Off the turnover, up ahead comes Tiffany Hayes. Wide left and short. Another offensive rebound for Atlanta.
Nobody blocking out.
Coffey in the corner for 3. Pours it in. Mia Coffey, the 24-year-old out of Northwestern. Comes in averaging 6 points and 3 boards, wide open in the corner after the offensive rebound.
Yeah, she's been in and out of the lineup. This is her 20th game, and she started the first 6 games.
January, straight to sweep from the corner. We mentioned it's been a struggle most of the season from behind the line for January. 33% coming into this game after leading the league last year at 47%.
No, we talked about, too, last year. Sorry, there's an offensive foul against Atlanta. But last year, January played injured. I mean, it's amazing the things that she did last year and playing the way she did. And she's had some injuries this year. She's missed a game or so with the Achilles. And a nice pass by Cunningham. And January wide open, and it's nice for the Mercury if they can get some wide open shots.
It's always a good formula for finding a corner 3. Somebody driving along the baseline, defense sucks in, and those players usually open in the corner. Phoenix comes up with the steal. Pressure in the backcourt by Sophie Cunningham.
Yeah.
She just brings
ultimate
energy
yeah.
every time she steps onto the floor, and then the blocking foul as Cunningham tried to drive baseline.
Well, her numbers were so great at Missouri. And being the number 13 pick, didn't know whether she'd get a lot of playing time or not. But she was the star in Missouri. They called her the mayor of Columbia.
She might be the mayor here in Phoenix sometime soon. She is so popular with the fans and her teammates. Coaches obviously love that effort.
And happy birthday today.
Yep, 23. January went after another 3, and here comes Brittany Sykes. She's one of the most dynamic athletes in the league. Pass was tipped inside, intended for Gulich, and Phoenix will have it.
The Mercury very lucky on that play because Gulich was wide open off the roll, and Sandy Brondello has really worked hard as far as Griner out of the lineup and how the rotations are going to be defensively. She was very impressed in the last game against Connecticut in the second half where the Sun only had 29 points.
Turner gives it back to Leilani Mitchell, who has been the offensive star for Phoenix of late. Averaging nearly 20 points per game over the last couple of weeks, and a blocking foul there on Gulich.
And the Mercury just stagnant in their offense, and Gulich getting called for a foul.
Last 6 games, Leilani Mitchell averaging about 20 points, had a season and career high 28 against Washington. She had a game against Washington in which she hit 8 threes, which tied the WNBA record. One that is one of the co-holders of that record is Renee Montgomery of the Atlanta Dream. Diana Taurasi also has made 8 threes in a game. She's on the bench for Phoenix, waiting to return from back surgery. Rebound by Bonner, eyes up, looking for a mate, and finds Mitchell. You see the respect that Mitchell has. 3-point range. Shot clock inside of 10 for Cunningham. Drives in. Couldn't complete. Mercury will be hosting New York Sunday afternoon and then off to Vegas on Tuesday. This Dream Team back home to host Chicago on Tuesday. Bentley pumps it in. And for Alex Bentley now, that's her second hoop in 6 attempts. 5 points off the bench for Bentley.
Now, we mentioned Bentley shoots 28% from the floor, and January comes right back and knocks her down. And, Bentley just playing with a lot of comfort right now.
Another direct hit by January. She now has 7 points, tying Duana Bonner for team high honors here in the first half. Rattles out for Maite Cazorla. Cazorla, a rookie out of Oregon, a second-round pick. And she has nice range with her game as well. One-handed finish in the lane for Bonner, who felt there was contact. Atlanta's biggest lead has been 12. Phoenix now pulling to within 5. Bonner has 9 for Phoenix. Sykes, pass picked off, anticipated by Breon January, and then the reach in at midcourt by Sykes to thwart the fast break. We'll get a timeout. Phoenix on the move here in the second quarter. Breon January has 7, but Duana Bonner leading Phoenix here in the first half with 9. Back from Phoenix after this. Taking a quick look at the upcoming national TV schedule for the WNBA next Thursday, the Indiana Fever visit the red-hot LA Sparks at 10:30 Eastern Time right here on CBS Sports Network. Then next Friday, this Atlanta Dream Team pays a visit to the New York Liberty. That game will also be on CBS Sports Network with coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern. Breon January, Duana Bonner have all 9 of the Mercury points here in the second quarter. A little extra spin on that drive by Mitchell. It goes off of Atlanta.
And the Dream leading the Mercury in rebounding 19-10, and Williams with 7 of those. We're trying to figure out whether or not that layup attempt by Leilani Mitchell hit the rim. If it did, then they reset the shot clock to 14. It looked like it just did nick the iron. Yep, just caught the front side of that rim. Maj Forsberg, Jeff Smith, and Matt Calillo are referees this evening in Phoenix. Mercury shot just 29% in the first quarter, but they're 4 of 7 coming out of that last timeout. There's that trap on January. Back to Turner. Drives into the lane to an open Sophie Cunningham. Missed everything. Shot clock blows up on Phoenix, and the Dream will have it. Cunningham's first game where she got a lot of minutes against Indiana, she had those 19 points and was on fire from three-point range, and just has not been able to get on track like she did in that first game.
Again, Maite Cazorla out there for Atlanta, playing collegiately in Oregon. Cross-court feed to Renee Montgomery. Another offensive rebound. Plowing in Elizabeth Williams.
Yeah, that's her 4th offensive rebound.
And now has 8 points to go with her 8 rebounds total.
It sure is easy when you don't have 6'9" in there.
Exactly. And like you mentioned, that first meeting between these two teams, Griner had a season-high 31 points, also had 12 boards and 3 blocks in that game. But no Griner while she is serving that suspension. Breland, back iron. Look at Williams going after another offensive rebound. And they're going to say Dream basketball. Williams was an all-star in 2017, most improved player in 2016. Taken 4th overall by Connecticut and then traded to Atlanta after her rookie season. Now in her 5th year out of Duke, where she was the college basketball player of the year. Cazorla, bounce feed into Williams. Covered there by Cunningham, help from Turner, and then an open 7-footer by Breland.
Dream doing a nice job moving the basketball, and it helps when you can get those offensive rebounds.
Atlanta extending their lead to 9. Biggest advantage has been a dozen here in the first half. January into the corner. Cunningham. Still time on the shot clock for Mitchell. Head fake. Drives in for the hoop. Pretty left-handed finish by Leilani Mitchell. And her second field goal. having a career season for the Mercury this year. Career highs in scoring, and rebounding, and assists, and threes. Breland bounces off, and there's Brianna Turner with the board. Rebound number 3 for the rookie. Sets the high screen for Mitchell. Rolls. Bonner. 2-point attempt. Good. And Bonner in double figures with 11.
The Mercury responding with some defensive stops.
Every game vital for Phoenix down the stretch here, hanging on to that 8th spot in the playoffs. High arching shot by Breland comes off. And Mitchell out there along with Bonner, Turner, Cunningham, and Breon January. Bonner drops the shoulder into Williams, draws the contact, and a couple free throws coming for DeWanna Bonner. Those are the type of calls that she doesn't always get because of that svelte frame, but Bonner got the call that time, and she'll be at the line when we come back with the Dream on top by 5. DeWanna Bonner carrying a larger load for the Phoenix Mercury with Griner out. She's only been averaging 12 points over her last 4, but Annie, she has 11 already.
Yeah, her very first game, she had 31 points. In quite a while in the beginning of this season, she was leading the WNBA in scoring, and she and Griner were going back and forth. And as you said, she has struggled scoring. She's got 11 games where she's got 15 or less points. 2 of those games, only 9 points, and that was against Dallas and New York.
Shooting 92% from the line and leading the WNBA with 110 free throws coming into this game. And now 2 of 2 at the stripe. 112 made this season for Bonner. And she cuts the Atlanta lead to 3. 13 points for DeWanna. 2:20 to go until halftime. Sykes and Hayes been quiet offensively for Atlanta. Sykes hit her first 3 shots early in the first quarter. Haven't heard from her since. Pump fake, firing it up is Breland. Jerked out of there by Bonner. Bonner's been doing an excellent job on the boards. That is rebound number 5. Floater by Yvonne Turner.
What a pretty shot that was. And Turner 2 of 5 now from the floor with 7 points.
Her offense has been critical for Phoenix in the absence of Taurasi all season long. Moving high screen by Breland, and Phoenix will take possession. Atlanta has spent much of the second quarter in the penalty situation. Only 1 team foul on Phoenix with 1:45 to go.
Now, Sandy Brondello, again, kind of a short bench because of the injuries and not relying on players as much. Cunningham has come in, and we haven't seen Camille Little. There she is now. Well, she's in now, but again, she's been a big difference maker for them on the boards and defensively.
Another floater, this time by Mitchell, kept alive by Camille Little. Shot clock reset to 14.
Yeah, Little is just such a savvy veteran.
They spread it out. Little rolls. Bonner popping at the top of the three-point line, but down went Leilani Mitchell, and she'll go to the line with Phoenix in the bonus.
And one of the things the Mercury worked in practice today was that the Dream do such a good job, as you talked about, defensively. And, yeah, they've struggled this year, but yet they still have the same concept of how to play defense. And so going for that trap, one of the things they talked about was slipping on the pick and roll. And that's exactly what Little did in leaving the double team on Mitchell. But Mitchell did a nice job going into the defense before it could get set to set that trap.
Now Phoenix can take the lead at the stripe if Mitchell can this one, and she does. This Dream team, led by as many as 12 here in the first half. Their coach, Nikki Collin, was the WNBA Coach of the Year last season in a landslide in her first year as a head coach in the WNBA.
Oh, nice
Tiffany
move.
Hayes breaks free.
Well, Hayes is left-handed, but she just did a little shake to the right and freed herself up defensively. We talked about this team being with such good players to be able to go one-on-one.
Just the second field goal for Hayes here in the first half. Bonner with the air ball. Yvonne Turner steps behind the line. She comes up short, chased down by Hayes. First meeting between these two teams. Phoenix shot 34%, Atlanta 30%. Deep three by Montgomery, who leaned into that one. Renee Montgomery hits her second 3 of the half. Atlanta 5 of 13 deep. Phoenix 3 of 14, and we'll get a timeout called by Sandy Brondello. 20 on the shot clock, 32.6 to go until halftime. Elizabeth Williams leading the way for Atlanta with 8, 7 for Sykes, 6 for Hayes and Montgomery. Duana Bonner leading all scorers. She has 13, 8 from Leilani Mitchell, and 7 each for January and Turner. So much better point distribution by Atlanta. For Phoenix, only 4 players have scored here in the half. Bonner, Mitchell, January, and Turner. So the Mercury, after this one, they will close out their 4-game homestand against New York on Sunday. And then they head to Las Vegas to take on the Aces Tuesday. But Liberty, they lost 6 in a row, 9 of 10, playing in Dallas tonight. They, of course, have Tina Charles, who's averaging 17 points per game. Kia Nurse, averaging 14, both with 2019 All-Stars. And New York actually won the first meeting in Phoenix on July 5th when Nurse had 26. Griner had 30 in that game. I mentioned the Dream will be hosting Chicago on Tuesday, but they just have to try to pull things together toward the end of the season. There was a lot of talk that they just didn't have the chemistry this year. Obviously, the shots weren't falling. Their offenses dropped off. But see, Chicago, then at New York, on to Dallas. Third and final meeting with Phoenix, and then the Seattle Storm, and that's where they have had their only road win of the season in Seattle. 1-11 on the road for Atlanta this season. Bonner hits the brakes, had an open look. And now Atlanta's going to call a timeout. 2 seconds separating the game clock from the shot clock.
Yeah, what's been tough for the Mercury this season is they have really struggled with efficiency. Easy baskets, and even the last 2 games against Connecticut and Dallas were winnable games with them. And yet they shot under 35% from the floor. So give credit to the defense of both those opponents. But also, there were a lot of wide-open shots that the Mercury have missed.
Let's go back to Diana Taurasi. She, as I mentioned, increased level of intensity of her workouts. Could return soon for Phoenix. And, boy, you know that Duana Bonner needs Griner, needs Taurasi. If Phoenix is going to make another run in the playoffs, as they have the past few years going through the elimination games, those single-game elimination contests, and they've been very effective in those games. They went into the season hoping that they could avoid that. But it appears now as the 8th seed that they would once again face single-game eliminations. And Taurasi, she has looked like she's had a little more pep in her step, and you've seen her in practice as well.
Well, her shooting is phenomenal, but it's different when you're running up and down the court and having to go against defense and the practice squad and so forth. But, you know, yes, the one thing about her, she's such a coach on the bench, and her enthusiasm and her positive attitude with her teammates is always, you know, right there with what's going on. And even the coaches have talked about Diana will see things on the court that sometimes the coaches miss. And they said, well, why didn't you tell us that at the timeout?
And again, once she is cleared to play, she'll have to serve that 1-game suspension for coming off the bench during that melee with the Dallas Wings. Montgomery on the dribble, and then the reach-in foul. Phoenix had 1 to give. 10.8 to go until halftime. That's just the first on Leilani Mitchell. 2 personals on Breon January. For Atlanta, Nia Coffey has 3, and 3 other players have 2 personal fouls. 4-point lead for the Dream. Final 10 seconds here of the half. Elizabeth Williams had the open layup, gave it up to Sykes. Off the iron, batted around. Bonner from beyond midcourt. And we have hit halftime. Interesting decision by Elizabeth Williams as the C's parted down the lane, but she pitched it out to Sykes. And Atlanta will take a 39-35 lead into halftime. Stay with us for stats and highlights, plus a look at a different kind of WNBA road warrior and the path that Renee Montgomery took from AAU bench player to the WNBA. You're watching the WNBA on CBS Sports Network. Halftime here in Phoenix, Atlanta, led by as many as 12 in the first half, currently up by 4. Tom Leander, along with the Hall of Famer Ann Myers-Drysdale. The Dream had 7 different scorers in the first half. Phoenix, who are without Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi, along with 4 other players, they only had 4 scorers in the first half.
Well, the balance that the Dream have had, and we've talked about the one-on-one play, and a lot of players on the Dream team coming in, attacking inside, knowing that they can get inside the lane without Brittany Griner. And one of those players, basically on the offensive side, going to the basket, she's posting up anyways, is Elizabeth Williams. And she's got 4 offensive rebounds, and when she gets it, she usually puts it back up, and it's going in. Not intimidated by Breezer Turner whatsoever. So she's getting a lot of good looks inside without Griner there. And then DeWanna Bonner for the Mercury, she's gotten inside. She's the one scoring, looking to be aggressive. I think what helps her game, too, is when she gets to the free throw line, is she's one of the top free throw shooters in the league.
Atlanta out-rebounding the Mercury by 7. 8-0 bench advantage as well for the Dream. And you talk about Elizabeth Williams. Happy not to see Brittany Griner on the floor this evening, because in the first meeting against Phoenix, Williams missed 8 of her 10 shots against Brittany in Phoenix. There you see the shooting. 5 3-point hits for Atlanta, 3 for the Mercury, and the +7 rebounding advantage.
And you wonder if the Dream can continue this hot shooting, spectacular shooting by them in the first half with 3-point shots. And Griner getting that one to go down, because mentioned that they are last in 3-point shooting in the league, and but they came out looking to score not only on the inside but from the outside, but also 18 points in the paint and 13 second chance points with those 7 offensive rebounds.
15 now.
A nice block
for
by
DeWanna
Turner.
Bonner. Yes, Brianna Turner with the block of the shot attempt by Williams, and then the rebound to Bonner.
And Turner, all she's doing is getting a body on Williams now. Williams kind of complaining a little bit, but Turner, that's her job, and the Mercury come out knocking down 2.
January splashes the 3-pointer. And Breon January has been on target. 3 of 5 shooting so far for Breon.
Now, the third quarter has kind of been a nemesis for the Mercury.
That's actually now the 4th basket for January. And shot clock at 7 now for Atlanta. So Breon January in double figures with 10.
The last time these two teams met, Sykes had 22 points in the third quarter.
Tying a WNBA record that was actually set by Diana Taurasi. Tiffany Hayes launches up a 3 at the end of the shot clock. Loose on the floor, scooped up by Renee Montgomery. Montgomery off the glass from 10 feet.
Yeah, 3 orange jerseys could not come up with the loose ball, and Montgomery finishing it off.
And still trying to figure out what happened to Brittany Sykes in that first half. She came out on fire, hit her first 3 shots, and then
she played 18 minutes.
Nothing after that. Bonner, straight, and down it goes for DeWanna Bonner. That's a 2-point hit. That Sykes, a player that had a 33-point game against Phoenix her rookie year, 29 in the last meeting this season against Phoenix, and still sitting on the 7 points. Montgomery inside to Elizabeth Williams.
Nice pass inside. Bonner knocking down those outside shots, and the last 4 games, she has been 0 for 23 from 3-point range.
Cross-court feed, Mitchell, right on target to Bonner. Uses a screen by Turner, but it was a moving pick and an offensive foul on Brianna Turner of Phoenix. She has been working diligently all season and even going back to training camp, Brianna Turner, with Mercury legend Jen Gillum, who is now an assistant for Sandy Brondello.
Now that's a 2-pointer by Bonner.
A 3-time All-Star in her 10th year out of Auburn. And talked about how she has struggled of late, averaging just 12 points per game in her last 4, but already with 17. Breland lines it up, can't knock it down. Tipped from behind by Mitchell, and into the midst of Turner. Now it's Yvonne Turner. Brianna Turner setting the screen. Cross-court feed, Bonner pump fake, trying to drive on Williams, shut down. Mitchell now with 5 on the shot clock. Has to hurry. Throws it up with the left hand and banks it home. Tough shot by Leilani Mitchell.
She did a nice job recognizing the shot clock winding down, and she was going to take that shot.
Phoenix on top by 1. Their biggest lead was 3 in the first half. Tiffany Hayes, aggressive move, contact, and a ticket to the line. Breon January slapped with a foul.
Now, good penetration right here, and she's so good at using the left hand. I said Leilani
left hand.
Yeah, that's right.
That was good. I like that. She is just such an incredible story, though. Her mom is Australian. Dad is American. She went to high school in the state of Washington. She's an Australian citizen now and plays for Sandy Brondello, her Mercury head coach, on the Australian national team, the Opals. Was a member of the 2016 team that played in the Olympics in Brazil. But originally drafted by Phoenix, and then the Mercury traded Leilani Mitchell to New York, where she became the WNBA's most improved player in 2010. And here she is, back in Phoenix with the Mercury, having a career season.
Yeah, out of Utah, she was one of the top college three-point shooters in the country.
And it's a story that's been told all season long, but is that shot by Bonner slapped out of bounds by Jessica Breland. Leilani Mitchell was actually cut early in the season for salary cap purposes. The Mercury hung on to their rookie Erica Carter and then re-signed Leilani Mitchell.
Yeah, not much that Bonner could do with that shot fading away, and Breland with those long arms.
Nice inbounds play to Breonna Turner.
Now, Turner can put up some points for this Mercury team. She's got 5 rebounds and waiting to see if she get a double-double on that rebound.
She's been averaging nearly a double-double over the last 4 games, 9 points and 10 boards for Breonna Turner. Soft shot there by Tiffany Hayes. And Hayes with her 3rd field goal. She's in double figures with 10, along with Elizabeth Williams. The Mercury now have 3 players scoring in double figures, led by Bonner's 17. Contact in the air will send Yvonne Turner to the stripe.
Yeah, it looked like another block, but a lot of body. And Turner, which in the last game got to the free throw line quite a bit with plays like that.
Turner, another one of those WNBA players who missed some time during the regular season to play in the Eurobasket tournament. She was playing for her team in Hungary. She has been a star overseas there in Hungary and knocks down the first toss. Had a career-high 22 points in a stunning win over the Mystics on August 4th. And mentioned the frequency of her going to the free throw line. 1 of 2 there for Yvonne Turner. She's been averaging 14.5 points in the last 4 games. Open lane for Bentley.
Yeah, defensive breakdown right there. Actually, it was Montgomery that went in and with a nice, easy layup.
Sorry, Renee Montgomery with the free pass to the hoop. Montgomery now defensively on January. Lobs it over to Bonner. They double team her on the baseline and steps out of bounds.
Well, Bonner had Montgomery on her, and that's where she's got to take advantage and just go up over the defense because of her height advantage. But Montgomery able to go all the way as Leilani Mitchell goes for the steal and leaves her teammates kind of hanging out to dry.
Montgomery now 32 years of age, coming out of Connecticut. On the drive, cut off by Mitchell. Hayes, head down,
nice hands
slapped
by
away
January.
by January. And then poked away from behind by Hayes. Into the awaiting hands of Sykes. Renee Montgomery in transition for 3. A heads-up defense leads to the steal and a quick 3 for Atlanta. And they're back on top by 5. And now away from the ball, some contact between Elizabeth Williams and Breonna Turner. It is Williams busted for the foul. That is number 3 on Elizabeth Williams. And we'll get a timeout. 4:54 to go, Annie. Renee Montgomery once had 8 threes in a game off the steal. She is free for 3, and the lead is 5 for the Dream. Renee Montgomery has 7 of the Dream's 11 third-quarter points. We also have 3 players here in the building that have knocked down 8 threes in a game, which is a WNBA record. Diana Taurasi, who's on the bench for Phoenix, and they turn it over, a backcourt violation. Leilani Mitchell has knocked down 8 threes in a game. So some of the co-owners of the WNBA record, Leilani Mitchell and Renee Montgomery, 7 threes and a half, tying for that record, but it's Christy Tolliver who knocked down 9 in the playoffs. But as far as that group with 8 in the regular season, Raquana Williams is part of that. Taurasi's actually done it twice. And then toss in Shakina Strickland. Interesting how that number 8 seems to be the benchmark in the regular season. Nobody can get past that, but Christy Tolliver, 9 in the playoffs.
Yeah, she's always been a clutch shooter, in January getting called for the foul. And really, the Mercury not coming out of that timeout. They had the chance to have the ball, and they turned it over, and now they come up with a foul.
Both teams with 2 team fouls. That is number 4 on Breon January. Phoenix still does not have a bench point tonight. 8 points off the pine so far for Atlanta. Tiffany Hayes. And she earns a ticket to the line. And fouled.
That's what's going to happen with either team. And the Dream have done an excellent job tonight as far as being able to get in the lane. Again, no Brittany Griner. They have no fear going in there. They're drawing the foul. When you get inside the lane, you're going to draw the foul. And right now, the Dream have been the aggressors.
An aggressive move by Hayes, fouled by Yvonne Turner.
They are 6 of 8 from the free throw line. The Mercury 9 of 11.
Hayes just a 76% free throw shooter. An all-star in 2017 for the Dream. Won a couple of titles at UConn. 4 trips to the Final Four. Goes 1 of 2 at the line. We talked earlier that she has 34, a career high at Indiana. And then struggled from the field in their last game. A 94-90 loss in Vegas to the Aces. Inside breaking free was Joanna Bonner. Camille Little found her. Nice baseline screen. Sprung Bonner. She now has 19 to lead all scorers. And Williams will go to the stripe, fouled by Little.
Yeah, Williams has been pretty quiet. She's only got 1 rebound so far in this third quarter. But good spacing by the Mercury. And the Dream one-on-one, and the baseline screen down low and opening Bonner up for the little reverse.
Atlanta going after just their second road win of the season. After a year in which they set a team record with 23 victories last year for their Coach of the Year, Nikki Collin.
Trying to get their 6th win of the season.
Losers of 10 in a row. That's the longest losing streak since 2010 for the Dream. The season they finished 4-30. Atlanta now 8 of 12 from the free throw stripe. Pass is deflected by Breland. Into the backcourt goes Camille Little. Shot clock at 10. Von Turner loops it up for Camille Little. And a rebound to Elizabeth Williams.
Well, there was a nice slip by Camille Little. Not able to finish it.
Montgomery weaving through traffic and finishes.
You know, Montgomery, probably 90% of her shots are three-point shots. And tonight she's gotten inside the lane with some easy layups.
And some dazzling ball handling. 15 points for Montgomery, leading Atlanta. 3:15 to go here in the third. A quiet game so far for Leilani Mitchell. And a foul.
Well, you know,
out on top.
You take the leading scorer in the league and one of the top defensive players in the league, and Brittany Griner at 6'9", and right now Breon Turner doing as good a job as she can, but she's taken 1 shot. She's got 2 points and 6 rebounds, and maybe not the defensive. And she's a good shot blocker. But as a young player, she's still learning the game, and certainly this Dream team taking advantage of her.
Another reach in, another whistle. Kind of a herky-jerky game throughout. Neither team. Atlanta's had the 12-point lead, but no big runs by either team. Lots of free throws being shot and fouls being called. And it just seems like both teams out of sync.
Well, the last game, the Dream had got to the free throw line quite a bit against the Aces, and so certainly true for the Mercury, too.
Short-handed Mercury, a long shot by Bonner. And without Essence Carson. And without Griner, Sancho Little, Alana Smith, and mentioned Diana Taurasi. Baseline drive, spinning move by Sykes. Couldn't finish. Met at the top there by Bonner. Sykes had those 3 early hoops in the first quarter and hasn't scored since. Bonnie Turner whips it. And Leilani Mitchell collects it. Shot clock is now down to 5 for Phoenix. Nowhere to go for Mitchell. And too late for Von Turner as the shot clock runs out on the Mercury.
A lot of dribbling and a good pressure by the Dream, but also the Mercury looking to get rid of the basketball rather than dribbling it and waiting for that trap to come at them.
Living up to their reputation, the Atlanta Dream, one of the best defensive teams last year, and same type of expectations coming in this season on the defensive end, and there's a moving screen on Gulich.
Yeah, Nikki Collins has been able to go deep into her bench and give some starters some rest, but there's kind of a little push off, and Mitchell bumped out.
Seen a lot worse, but that is a moving screen. You have to be set. And now a kick. 17 on the shot clock for Phoenix. They're shooting 42% from the field, 44% for Atlanta. Try to lob it into Bonner. Tipped from behind by Sykes. Sykes is just a pleasure to watch. Her athleticism, her ability to elevate. Terrific defensive instincts as well.
Yeah, Tiffany Hayes, too. Two of the better athletes in the league.
Phoenix trying to move it around the perimeter. Mitchell hands it off to Camille Little. Drives left. Shoulder down. Off the glass. And an offensive foul on Camille Little. And she is irate.
Now, Little does what she's supposed to do. Get into the lane, drive to the basket, try and draw a foul. And they say that she dipped that shoulder, and Breland had position.
34-year-old Camille Little in her final WNBA season, planning on retiring after this year. Hayes drives right into the lane, pressured from behind by Brianna Turner. A rookie with those long arms. Mitchell stops, pops, couldn't score. And then a holding foul in the backcourt to slow down Sykes.
Now Mitchell, 3 of 7 from the floor. She's got 10 points, but 0 for 1 from three-point range. We talked about coming into this game, the last 4 games, she has shot 50% from three.
Both teams in the penalty situation rest of the way, and Sandy Brondello has seen enough here in the third quarter. Hasn't been able to generate much offense, and when we come back, it's Sykes at the line for Atlanta. 56-49 Atlanta here in the third quarter. Mercury have been outscored 9-2 over the last 3+ minutes. Sandy Brondello juggling 3 jobs, head coach of the Mercury, the Australian national team, the Opals, and of course she's a mom to Brody and Jada with her husband Olaf. They have coached together in Russia. It was interesting, too, to find out that they were married in Miami in 2005 at Pat Riley's home. And then you have Nikki Collin in her second year, the reigning coach of the year. And she's a mother of 3 and met her husband, Tom, at Colorado State. Nikki was Tom's assistant there. So a couple of moms who are head coaches here in the WNBA doing a great job of juggling those different positions. And Sandy Brondello leading that national team. They even had some workouts here in Phoenix in July as they prepare for some World Cup action and also the Olympics in 2020. Minute 20 to go here in the third quarter. Mitchell may have been pushed from behind on the release. Misfired on the 3.
Mercury shooting 40%. The Dream just under 43.
Camille Little grabs the missed shot by Coffey. Who's going to light the spark for Phoenix and Atlanta? Both teams have struggled offensively here in the third quarter. Bonner changes directions. Finds an open Little in the corner. That's a 2-point hit for Camille Little.
Now, Camille Little coming into her last season. Three-point shooting was not a part of her game. And she said in the beginning of the season, somebody made a comment saying that she could not shoot a three-point shot. And she has continued to knock them down this season for the Mercury.
The official indicated a 2. Thought they might come over and review it.
That's her 6th 3.
35 seconds to go. Here in the third, Sykes
Good
Looking
defense.
for Gulich. Very active, Brianna Turner. On the run out, Bonner hangs. Floats, grabs her own miss. Still in the lane. Surrounded by 3 defenders, and she'll go to the line for 2.
She was bounding, determined to get that ball. It didn't fall for her, but when she's on that left side, she likes to go back to the right hand, but just not quitting on the play. Thought she could outrun, but does a nice job getting around and then stays with it. A little fatigue, too.
Rare miss by Bonner. Shooting 92% from the line, leading the league in made free throws. She had her season-high 31 in the first game, the opener at Seattle. She also had 38 in a game for her career high. And goes 1 of 2 at the line. She has 20. 20 for Bonner, 10 for Mitchell, 10 for January. Von Turner with 8. And Camille Little with that last basket became the 5th Mercury player to score in this game. Final 10 seconds of the third. Bentley's in there now for Atlanta. Sykes, ball fake, rising up off the front iron. Mitchell heaves it from 3-quarter court, nicks the rim, and we're headed to the 4th quarter here from Phoenix with Atlanta on top 58-52, led by Renee Montgomery's 15 points. Bonner has 20 for the Mercury. Somebody's losing streak will come to an end tonight here in Phoenix. Atlanta's lost 10 in a row. They're up by 6 on the Mercury, who have dropped 3 straight, 5 of their last 6. They're 0-2 on their 4-game homestand with losses to Dallas and Connecticut. The loss to the Wings was Dallas's first road win of the year. Hayes to start the 4th quarter. Off balance, not close.
Only 5 assists in that 3rd quarter, 3 by the Mercury, 2 by the Dream. So not a lot of sharing of the basketball or making baskets.
Back cut, Bonner. The feed from Camille Little. Right on target. Has done that a couple of times to Duana Bonner. 22 now for Duana, who had been leading the league in scoring much of the season. That mantle taken over by Brittany Griner, serving the second of a 3-game suspension. Long rebound to Gulich. Elizabeth Williams has a double-double for Atlanta already, 11 points, 10 rebounds, but it's Gulich stepping in, comes up short.
One of the reasons Gulich is getting a lot of playing time, certainly, again, Griner not in the game, but at 6'5", she's able to pop out and take that outside shot.
End of that 3rd quarter, the basket by Camille Little, 2-pointer in the corner. First bench points for Phoenix. And here's Little now, backing down, fading, and scoring again. So maybe it will be Camille Little igniting this Phoenix Mercury team. 58-56. Somebody has to step up in the absence of Griner and Taurasi and Carson.
Well, the one thing about Little, she doesn't hesitate to look to score.
Gulich drives in the lane, sent away by the rookie Turner.
Turner just looked like a cat. She was just setting up the whole thing, and then as soon she knew exactly when to jump.
Von Turner to Bonner along the baseline. Heavy contact. Down goes Duana.
No foul.
No foul?
Hayes with the foul. Oh, they did call a foul. Hayes getting called for the foul on Bonner, but look at how she just sets it up. She knew exactly when Gulich was going up and used that left hand with the block.
Players around the W will learn about the defensive skills of Brianna Turner. Bonner so far 3 of 4 from the line. She's knocked down 1 3 in 5 attempts, and that 3-point hit was the first shot of the game, right out of the gate. She has a chance to tie this up, and sinks the first. Bonner struggled mightily in the first meeting against Atlanta back on July 7th. Missed 12 of her 15 shots, but did have 14 rebounds in that game.
Yeah, Bonner and Griner continuing to lead the league in minutes played.
Griner will serve that 3rd game of her suspension on Sunday against the New York Liberty. That's the next game for Phoenix, and then they're off to Vegas. Take on the Aces on Tuesday. Driving hoop for Tiffany Hayes.
Yeah, Hayes, again, being left-handed defensively, the Mercury have not done as good a job and kind of forgetting that they need to stop her going that way.
The rebuttal by Yvonne Turner, who nets a three.
And the Mercury take the lead.
And Tiffany Hayes plays with a lot of emotion, too. Inside hoop, Elizabeth Williams. She has been so strong on the interior for Atlanta.
Yeah, double-double with 13 points, 10 rebounds.
5 of 8 from the field for Elizabeth Williams.
It's the second time she's had 10 rebounds this season.
Back and forth they go. Atlanta up by 1. January, pitch it over to Little. She'll take game. And then over the top, trying to grab the offensive rebound, was Turner, and they're going to call on the inside the foul on Elizabeth Williams. So she was boxing out Brianna Turner, who was leaping behind her to try to snare that offensive board.
Yeah, Turner just has great hops and gets above Williams as Williams trying to do a good job blocking her out, but kind of standing up a little too straight, and Turner's
you don't see
straight
that
up.
Elizabeth Williams like, hey, that was perfect boxing out skills. 5 on the shot clock now for January. Bonner, deep three. Down it goes, absolutely, for DeWanna Bonner. Offense picking up for both teams here in the fourth after a very quiet third quarter. Now it's Elizabeth Williams. Drops the head and the shoulder. Comes off. Tipped around. Breland is there. She's sent away again by the rookie Turner. Another block here in the fourth quarter. Oh, and then slipping and sliding Yvonne Turner. And then some moisture on the court. Foul on Jessica Breland. Go back to Brianna Turner. Their second block here in the fourth. Bonner was there as well, so it could have been Bonner and Brianna Turner.
Now they stayed with it defensively.
January pops three. A three-point hit for Breon January. And now Phoenix with their biggest lead. They are up by 5. Emotion has returned to Talking Stick Resort Arena as Breon January on target from deep.
Does a nice job coming around the screen, knocking it down.
Phoenix off to a 15-4 run to open the fourth quarter. Bonner has 7 points as both she and Breon January pumping in threes for the Mercury.
Yeah, big time in the second half. The Mercury are 4 of 5 from three-point range, where the Dream, who were hitting in the first half, they are 1 of 5 in the second half.
27 points for DeWanna Bonner. That's the most points she's had in a game since August 1st at Connecticut. And should the Mercury win tonight, it would match the largest comeback win this season. Being down 12, that happened also May 31st against Vegas. 6:15 to go here in the fourth. Lots of time to go. Williams face up on Camille Little and drills it. Terrific game from Elizabeth Williams.
Their first double-double of the season with 15 points, 10 rebounds.
Extended minutes for Camille Little. And Phoenix without Brittany Griner. She's in the front court along with Brianna Turner. It's Little now with it. Top of the key. Bonner. Quick fire three. Missed everything. And out of bounds it goes. Atlanta will have possession.
And that's a play, yeah, you're looking for DeWanna Bonner, but Little has to look for the shot. And I mentioned earlier, being the veteran, that she has been looking for a shot. But the play kind of broke down, where she was wide open, just take one dribble in, and she had a nice, easy open shot.
67-64 Phoenix. Bentley trying to dump it down inside and goes off the hands of Williams.
And that was a good idea by Bentley. Thought Williams was going to be able to grab that.
Yvonne Turner comes out. Leilani Mitchell back in for the Mercury. Montgomery out there along with Bentley, Breland, Williams, and Hayes for the Atlanta Dream. Bonner lost the handle. Another turnover for Phoenix.
Just probably a little too much dribbling, I think, by Mitchell out front.
13 turnovers committed by the Mercury, resulting in 12 Dream points so far. Atlanta has turned it over 10 times. Breland Looking inside for Williams. Batted away by Camille Little. Turner gets it back on the lob from January. Couldn't complete it.
Yeah, Turner's done a nice job during the season finishing those shots.
Tiffany Hayes into the lane with that left hand. Comes off. Another rebound for Bonner.
Yeah, she's got her 38th double-double, one behind Griner.
Step back Bonner comes up way short.
Yeah,
they're going to have to go back
yeah.
to the shot clock. Yep. That didn't catch the iron, so they're going to have to reset that shot clock. 27 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists for DeWanna Bonner.
Now, this is her 6th double-double of the season.
And that was going to be the competition between Bonner and Brittany Griner coming into this year. The two of them had a friendly bet, a little wager on who would register the most double-doubles this season. 10 on the shot clock now, and away from the play. Foul slapped on the Atlanta Dream and Tiffany Hayes.
That's 4th team foul.
That's 5 on Hayes. Elizabeth Williams also has 5. So Hayes and Williams cannot afford another foul the rest of the way with 4:20 to go here in the 4th. Phoenix trying to improve their record to 12-13. And passed by a little too hot. But if you look at some of the action today, Phoenix still has a chance to move up in the standings. They came in 8th in the WNBA at 11-13. Seattle lost to Connecticut. LA, they lost as well. So Phoenix, along with Minnesota, and then you have Seattle too, they could conceivably move all the way up to number 5 if they were to go on a run late in this regular season. January, and that pass is kicked, and 14 put back on the shot clock.
Well, Bonner's high this season on rebounds is 14, and that was against Atlanta.
Her high scoring, 31 in the opener at Seattle. And that is definitely within range for Bonner. Little crossing over, backing down on Breland. And couldn't connect. Little has been very assertive offensively. It's her 7th field goal attempt. Bentley, too strong on the layup attempt. Mitchell cut off. Atlanta's done a good job defensively on Leilani Mitchell. Offensive rebound to Brianna Turner. She goes back up with it with the left hand. Another offensive rebound, this time by Bonner. Swatted out of there by Brianna Turner. And now we're going to get, I believe, a timeout call. DeWanna Bonner was down on the ground. And Atlanta will call the timeout with 3:07 to go. And the Dream trailing by 3.
Well, Bonner's complaining that you don't want to get a T now, but she's complaining she got undercut. And they're saying that she jumped back. So
no, that's not a foul.
But she jumps backwards, but she feels that she was undercut.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it different ways.
Bentley was just trying to get out of the way.
Yeah. So Bonner's season high is 14 rebounds. Her career is 16.
Nice.
And that was last year against Atlanta.
Oh.
So
Jeez.
Timeout on the floor. When QBs jump into the round, great plays happen. Let's check out tonight's State Farm assist of the game.
Back here in Phoenix, fourth quarter, a timeout called, 2:13 to go. Phoenix on top, 70-66. Leilani Mitchell hits a three. Renee Montgomery with the reverse layup. And the Mercury have now outscored the Dream 18-8 here in the fourth quarter. Montgomery with a difficult shot. She now has 17 for Atlanta.
Yeah, she got inside and used that right hand on that reverse, and Turner could not get over there. But 7 of 10 from the floor. Montgomery, as you said, 17 points. She's got 3 rebounds, only the 1 assist.
And then you have Leilani Mitchell, who poured in her first three-pointer of the night. And she now has 13 for Phoenix.
Yeah, the Mercury have outscored the Dream in this fourth quarter, 18-8.
So Phoenix has been decimated by injuries and suspensions. But Griner out, second game of her 3-game suspension. Taurasi after the back surgery. Sancho Little has the knee surgery last year and then re-injured it this season. Essence Carson, they hope to have her possibly by playoff time. And the rookie Alana Smith out with an ankle injury.
Yeah, Taurasi, Little, and Carson, they've been out at practices, and certainly Taurasi having the opportunity to shoot around a little bit more, and the rehab is going really well, obviously, for all 3 players.
And again, once she is reinstated and active, she'll serve that 1-game suspension. Whether or not that could be against Las Vegas or the next game after that in Las Vegas. But Taurasi is itching to return this year. Only played 1 game against Connecticut and re-injured that back. So she has been fiercely rehabilitating, and just that competitive spirit. This is just killing her, not being out there, and especially with their team 2 games under 500, still trying to secure that 8th and final playoff spot in the WNBA playoffs.
Well, if this Mercury team can get healthy, they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs.
Washington now has the best record in the league at 19-7, followed by Connecticut 18-8. The Sun, they've won 9 of 11. Mystics winning 86-79 at Minnesota. So those are the top 2 teams right now, followed closely by the Aces, who are 17-9.
And then you've got L.A., Chicago, Seattle, and Minnesota ahead of the Mercury. They're calling an offensive foul on Camille Little.
I think it's on Bonner.
Oh, is it Bonner?
On Bonner, saying she may have used her
Joanna Bonner can't believe it either.
She is still upset about the no call when she was under the basket and leaned into Bentley, trying to draw some contact.
And this is, again, tough for the Mercury. They come out of a timeout and they turn the ball over, as they've done a couple times this game.
Tiffany Hayes driving baseline, followed by Bonner, tripped up, no call there, and stepping out of bounds is Montgomery. And boy, she fell right into Breon January. The referee steps in quickly, but it's an out-of-bounds violation on Atlanta. Phoenix will have it up by 4.
You know, possessions are so important down the stretch here with 2 minutes.
2 minutes remain in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes.
This has not been a masterpiece for either team. Full squad still with a chance to win it here in the final minute 50. January pours in the big shot.
Great ball movement between the 2 guards, January and Mitchell.
9th three-point hit for Phoenix tonight. January has 16. 4 of 6 deep for Breon January. Now it's Brianna Turner reaching in. And you see that emotion from Tiffany Hayes. Both teams with 4 team fouls, so Atlanta will have it on the side.
Well, it was good ball movement by the Mercury, and you could see that the Dream were really scrambling on defense.
4 threes for Breon January, 2 for Yvonne Turner, 2 for DeWanna Bonner. Meanwhile, Atlanta has missed 14 of their 23-point attempts. There's another. This time from Sykes. Sykes still just with the 9 points after that quick start. 7-point lead for Phoenix. That's their biggest. Circling away from the pressure was Mitchell. Shot clock at 5. Here comes January. Over to Little. Looks up at the shot clock. Fires it up. High rebound. Picked off by the smallest player on the court, Leilani Mitchell.
That's her 5th rebound.
And now trying to keep that dribble free from Renee Montgomery. Forced to foul, stopping the clock, and free throws coming for Leilani Mitchell.
The Mercury have been so close in their last few games, but Camille Little knew that she had to get the shot up, and nobody blocking Mitchell out. Sneaks in there. Montgomery can't get a hold of her. She's just a little slippery in there.
5 rebounds, 5 assists, now 14 points for Leilani Mitchell, who is averaging 20 over her last 6 games. She has just turned it on offensively for this Phoenix team when they needed it most. Good to go at the line. 6 of 6 from the stripe for Leilani Mitchell. The lead is 9. Hayes from the corner. Picked up by Bonner. Another rebound for Dewana. That's number 14. 27 points, 14 rebounds, 4 assists.
Yeah, she tied her season high 14 against Atlanta, which she had earlier in the season. And her career high is 16 last year against Atlanta. Nice pass.
Camille Little inside to Brianna Turner. Little's done that a few times here tonight, finding Bonner and now the rookie Turner.
Yeah, 18 assists for the Mercury.
Another excruciating fourth quarter for the Atlanta Dream. They led the Aces in Las Vegas in their last game by 5 going to the fourth quarter. And were outscored by 9. And Phoenix runs away with it here in the fourth. And they're going to win it 77-68. Down goes the Dream. That is now loss number 11 in a row for Atlanta. The Phoenix Mercury end their 3-game losing streak and improved to 12-13. This is an important victory for Phoenix, Annie, especially considering that Brittany Griner will have one more game of her suspension on Sunday.